Good morning, students. This is Mrs. Beeling, and I'm here today to go over some important information with you. First of all, I'd like to tell you you've all gotten off to a wonderful start with our AP US History class, and I'm really proud of all the work that you've been doing over the past 2 weeks, and I know that you're going to have a great experience during this semester. I do want to commend all of you for getting your Chapter 1 writing assignment in on time. The entire class did a great job of meeting the deadline. I rarely have 100% participation at that level, so thank you and give yourselves a good pat on the back. Way to go. Here are some important topics I'd like to go over with you. This information is also written out in a script so you can read it as well, but I thought it would be a good opportunity for me to meet with you more personally face-to-face using this video. First of all, saving your work with the assignment tool. Some of you correctly use the assignment tool to submit your Chapter 1 writing assignment. That direction was given to you on your weekly checklist. So if you did not submit your work using the assignment tool and instead sent it to me via a message, that means you did not read your weekly checklist very carefully. Remember to always read all directions extremely carefully, maybe more than once, to ensure that you're following them correctly. I really do work very hard to write specific directions, so it will make your job easier as well as mine. From this point on, you do need to submit your assignments using the assignments tool. First, go to the course information button area and read the section that talks about how to use the assignment tool. You also need to read very carefully the directions for how to save your documents. There is a specific naming protocol that you must use. If you follow these directions very carefully, then that means I have more time to spend with you in helping you learn the course rather than spending time working with documents and trying to assess your grades. When you're creating a blog or a journal or a discussion board submission, I recommend that you first write it out on a document on your own computer and save it. Then copy and paste it into the Blackboard course. That way you always have a backup, and if something happens while you're working, like the computer freezes or the website times out, then you still have a backup of your document and you don't have to start over again. This also gives you something to use to study later. And your blogs in particular are really good pieces of information to use as you study for tests. Finally, when I grade your work, I take time to post comments and make corrections. Please read these carefully to help you learn and improve. And don't think that just because I wrote a lot on your assignment that means you've done something wrong. Often I ask questions to help you think more deeply about what you're learning, and sometimes I write compliments, so read everything. The next subject has to do with technical problems. Some of you reported to me that you had trouble getting into the course last Thursday night, but I didn't hear about it until Friday. I'm really sorry that you experienced a problem, and just to remind you, you can send me a message within the system when something like that happens, and I'll do what I can. However, there may be a glitch in the system that I can address after office hours, but still let me know immediately anytime there is a problem. Also, your liaison can contact me via email or cell phone anytime. I do check my email regularly during the day and in the evening. But when you're reporting the problem to me or anyone in TVS or with Blackboard, you need to be very specific about the problem. For example, what device are you using? A laptop, a desktop, a PC, a Mac, a tablet, and what model? What browser are you using? For example, Internet Explorer or Safari. And what version are you using? What specific area of the course are you attempting to access? And what exact problem occurs? And if you receive an error message, what does it say? The more information you give us, the better we are able to replicate the problem and find a solution. Since many of you seem to have problems accessing the course on Thursday, I will give you until Wednesday a.m. to submit your Chapter 1 blog. Some of you have submitted a blog assignment. If I asked you to correct it, please send that revision to me in a message. Also, I did discover that the journal entry for week 2 was not available last Friday. I thought it was. So you can still go back and do that journal entry and complete that assignment before beginning Chapter 2 work on your weekly checklist for week 3. Next subject is plagiarism. I need to remind you about using your sources. There are many wonderful sources to use in studying AP US History, and I encourage you to search for them and use them for reading and taking notes. However, when you submit an assignment for a grade, including blogs and writing assignments, you must submit work that is in your own words. Processing information and putting it into your own words is one of the ways you remember information and internalize it. Also, ensure you answer the exact question that's being asked, not just regurgitating information that you found in another source. If you quote a source, please be sure and cite it correctly. The correct way to cite a source can be found at Citation Machine. I will put that web link in our external links button area for you to access. If you plagiarize, I cannot accept your work. I will either ask you to redo it, or if you have exhibited a habit of submitting plagiarized work, I will give you a 0 with no opportunity to redo this assignment. If you continue to plagiarize, I will talk with your counselor about removing you from the course, but I doubt I will have to take those extreme measures now that you're more understand better what plagiarism is about. Okay, let's talk for a minute about the test Friday. It's not uncommon for students to do poorly on our first test. If you have never taken an online test as well as an AP test, there are many things to discover. One of the things you will learn as we go through the course is how to identify what is important and what is extraneous information. Did you use a note-taking strategy, as I suggested? What did you read? How did you process the key terms? How did you study? Those are questions that I would need to know answers to in order for me to help you improve. Don't worry about your grade at this point. Everybody seems to be doing fine. It's only the first test, and as long as you're working according to the directions in the course and meeting your deadlines, you should be fine. But do learn from this experience. Go back and review the notes and the comments I put on your assignments. Go back and review the test and see what you missed and why. The questions may be different from what you've been used to seeing on a history test. They are at a level that requires you to think critically and remember a great deal of information. Another note about grades, I do drop 20 points every 6 weeks, which is the equivalent of a writing assignment grade. I recognize that anybody can have a bad day, so you're not penalized. Let's talk a little bit about your availability in the course. I've learned that you have only 45 minutes each day in class. That means you will have to do a great deal of reading and writing outside of class, as well as studying. AP US History does go by very fast. We cover about a chapter a week in order to finish in time for the AP test in May. I also learned some of you formed a study group. What a wonderful idea. College students often find that participating in study groups helps them learn better. Just ensure that your assignments are written in your own words, and remember that you can collaborate from a distance using your personal devices. You can use something like Skype, so you don't even have to be in the same place at the same time. There is a messaging system in Blackboard that you can download and use as well. I'll post that information for you in the external links button area if you're interested in using it. You can also use it to message me when I'm online. Next, my availability. The last 2 weeks I have been at home because I had foot surgery on August 31st and I've been recovering. But tomorrow, Monday, I will be back at work and I won't be as readily available as I have been during these last 2 weeks. I will check messages every afternoon after work and reply. If you have an emergency, have your liaison call me or email me and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Remember to give me as many details as possible so that I can help you. Well, that's the end of our first video cast. I hope this information was helpful. Once again, the script is posted here on the announcements page, and I will also put it in the course information area so you can go back and read over it if you need to. Please, please stay in touch with me. I have seen such a good response to you and in the message area, and I really appreciate that. Communicating with each other is such an important part of your success in this course, and I'm always here to help you. Thanks, guys. Have a great week.